Welcome to Fawlty Towers, the only hotel where the manager yells at the guests, the waiter doesn't speak English, and you're more likely to get a concussion than a continental breakfast. It is one of the greatest British sitcoms ever made, but behind the on-screen madness are some seriously surprising stories, from one-liners that took days to perfect, to scripts initially being rejected by the BBC. Today we're unpacking wild facts that made Fawlty Towers such pure comedy gold. Number 1. The BBC rejected the first script. Believe it or not, the very first Fawlty Towers script was flat-out rejected by BBC executives. John Cleese, co-creator of the show, recalled a note from an executive that described it as dire, a collection of clichés and stock characters. They thought it was too extreme and simply not funny, but John Cleese was a big name and already had previous success with Monty Python. Eventually, he managed to persuade BBC bosses to air one pilot episode. The pilot was a hit with viewers, prompting the BBC to give the green light for a full series. The rest, as they say, is history. And the brutal note Cleese received? He has it framed in his house. A reminder that rejection isn't the end. Number 2. Cleese and Booth didn't take payment for writing the first series. John Cleese and Connie Booth weren't paid for writing the first 6 episodes of Fawlty Towers, as the BBC had little faith in the show initially. To get it made, the pair agreed to be paid only as actors, not as writers. It was a creative and financial gamble, taken purely out of belief in the show. And this risk paid off. Big time. Number 3. Cleese and Booth were married. John Cleese and Connie Booth weren't just co-writers and co-stars. They were married when they created Fawlty Towers. But by the time the second series aired in 1979, they had already been divorced. Despite the split, they remained professional and continued writing and acting together in the show. It's a great example of two people putting their differences aside for the sake of a project. Number 4. Basil Fawlty was based on a real person. Yes, the eccentric and uptight main character, Basil Fawlty, wasn't entirely fictional. John Cleese and Connie Booth based him on Donald Sinclair, the owner of the Gleneagles Hotel in Torquay, where they both once stayed. He allegedly yelled at guests, and even tossed someone's suitcase over a wall. Cleese called Sinclair the rudest man I've ever met, and found him so bizarre that he built Basil Fawlty's personality almost entirely around him. Number 5. Each episode took weeks to write. While most sitcoms get scripts done in a matter of days, Fawlty Towers was the total opposite. Each 30-minute episode took 4 to 6 weeks to write. And that's with 2 writers working full-time. Cleese and Booth spent days refining just a single scene, making sure the comedic timing was perfect. The result? Every episode is a masterclass in comedic brilliance. Number 6. Only 12 episodes were ever made. Only 2 series were ever made. 6 episodes in 1975 and another 6 in 1979. That's it. The creators chose to stop rather than sacrifice quality. Despite its huge popularity and lasting influence, they crafted 12 tightly written episodes, rather than dragging it out for years. John Cleese believed it was better to leave audiences wanting more than to risk repeating themselves or letting the standard drop. Number 7. The scripts were published as a book. The writing of the show was so admired that the 12 originally written scripts were officially published in book form, titled The Complete Fawlty Towers, in 1988. The book includes every line of dialogue, and also includes stage direction and scene setup. For fans, writers, and comedy students, it's a textbook in tight sitcom structure. Number 8. One episode had to be completely rewritten. Despite most episodes taking 4 to 6 weeks to write, there was one that didn't make it past the script stage. Originally titled The Robbery, the episode was going to be a part of the second series. It revolved around a hotel break-in, but midway through development, Cleese and Booth decided it wasn't working. The plot lacked momentum, and the comedy fell flat. Rather than trying to salvage it, they took the bold decision to scrap it, and replaced it with the now iconic classic, The Kipper and the Corpse, where Basil has to deal with a dead guest. It showed that even after weeks of effort, Cleese and Booth wouldn't hesitate to start over if the jokes didn't land. Number 9. No improvisations allowed. Despite how chaotic the show feels, the writers allowed no improvisations. Every word, pause, and reaction were scripted by Cleese and Booth, then timed with a stopwatch during rehearsals to make sure pacing was perfect. They both believed great comedy relied on structure, not randomness. And that razor-sharp timing, it made history. Number 10. Britain's best sitcom. It may not have an official Guinness record, but Fawlty Towers was voted the greatest British sitcom of all time in a 2019 Radio Times poll, beating other classics like Blackadder and Father Ted. It earned top spot from a panel of over 100 comedy experts, who praised its flawless writing and unforgettable characters. Even decades later, it remains the gold standard for sitcoms, iconic, sharp, and timeless. Number 11. The inspiration hated the show, Donald Sinclair. The main inspiration for Basil Fawlty allegedly didn't enjoy Fawlty Towers and never realized the character was based on him. According to his widow, Sinclair thought the show was silly. What's more surprising, he didn't connect himself with Basil's outbursts, paranoia, or awkwardness. In the end, Fawlty Towers became a British institution, but its real-life muse? He completely missed the joke. Number 12. Every episode follows a hidden formula, though the show feels unpredictable. Each episode actually follows a carefully structured narrative formula. It usually starts with Basil hatching a plan, whether it's impressing a guest or hiding something from Sybil. Then something goes wrong. Basil scrambles to fix it, which only makes it worse, until he explodes into one of his legendary meltdowns. It's the same structure every time, but somehow it never gets old. Because Fawlty Towers isn't just chaos, it's chaos with precision. Number 13. Don't mention the war. It's one of the most quoted and most controversial lines of the show. In the episode The Germans, Basil tells the staff not to mention World War II, and then immediately brings it up in the most over-the-top way possible. The episode caused a stir back in the 70s, and the particular episode was even removed from some reruns in recent years. Cleese defended its satirical intent, explaining how it didn't mock Germans. It mocked Basil's cluelessness. Controversial or not, this scene became iconic. Number 14. The final episode of the sitcom broke its own formula. Throughout the series, Basil usually takes the fall, but in the last episode, Basil the Rat, something rare happens. Basil actually gets away with it. After spending the entire episode trying to hide Manuel's pet rat from a health inspector, everything miraculously works out. The inspector leaves satisfied. The hotel passes inspection, and for once, Basil wins. A quiet, accidental victory, ending the show on a strange but fitting note. Number 15. Polly was written as the audience's anchor, while the rest of the characters were pure madness. Polly was designed to keep us grounded. Connie Booth, who also played Polly, wrote the character as the voice of reason, the only person in the hotel who actually had common sense. She wasn't perfect, but compared to Basil's chaos and Sybil's sarcasm, Polly was the only one viewers could trust. She balanced the absurdity with just enough empathy and wit to keep it believable. In many ways, Polly was holding the show's chaos together, calm in the storm and quietly essential. Number 16. Manuel was almost Italian. Yes, the confused waiter from Barcelona was originally supposed to be Italian, but when actor Andrew Sachs, A London-born Englishman was cast. He suggested making the character Spanish instead, saying the language barrier would be funnier that way. The writers agreed, and it worked perfectly. Manuel's constant K became instant comedy gold. Ironically, one of British TV's most iconic foreigners was played by a man who grew up in North London. A simple creative pivot, and the laughs doubled. It also gave Basil the perfect excuse whenever things spiraled out of control. "He's from Barcelona." The line became a running joke, and somehow it got funnier every time. Each time Basil delivered it, he sounded a little more exasperated, and the audience loved watching him slowly unravel. Number 17. Did you ever spot the hotel sign? During the intro of nearly every episode, it should read Fawlty Towers. But look closely, and it often doesn't. The letters are hilariously scrambled into things like flowery twats, fatty owls, and warty towels. It's a subtle running gag, a blink and you'll miss it prank for sharp-eyed viewers. Drop a comment if you ever notice them, or if you have a personal favorite. Number 18. Fake laughs. Fawlty Towers never used a laugh track. Unlike most sitcoms of its time, there was no added laughter. What you hear during each episode is a real studio audience, genuinely reacting to the chaos on screen. John Cleese insisted on it, believing if the jokes didn't land naturally, they weren't funny enough. And judging by the roar of laughter in nearly every scene, it's clear. The comedy spoke for itself. Number 19. The episodes originally had no titles when the show first aired. None of the episodes had titles shown on screen. In fact, the BBC didn't even publicize them. So for years, the listings used unofficial names, like the one with the spoons, for the Hotel Inspectors episode. The official titles were first given on mid-1980s VHS releases, nearly a decade after the original broadcast. Number 20. A new sequel. We saved the best for last. Fawlty Towers is officially getting a sequel series. In 2023, John Cleese announced that he's returning as Basil Fawlty, this time co-writing the new show with his daughter, Camilla Cleese. The sequel follows Basil in the modern day, running a boutique hotel alongside a daughter he's only just discovered. It's not a reboot or remake. It's a new chapter. Same Basil, new chaos, and probably even more confused guests. And that's a wrap on 20 surprising facts about Fawlty Towers, one of the greatest sitcoms ever written, even if the BBC didn't think so at first. Which episode is your all-time favorite? Let us know in the comments below. If you laughed, learned something new, or just felt a little nostalgic, smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next one.